I really need to improve this shoe rack. It looks a mess, and I'm going to use some reclaimed wood to do that. Now, in many ways, this is my version of a pallet project. The only difference is I'm not using pallets. I'm going to use some reclaimed timber from an old wardrobe and cupboard. This is quite a nice piece of timber, but it's full of nails, it's got splits, it's got cracks, it's got damage. So it's going to take a bit of work to make it into a project. As you can see in this board, there are nails, there's glue, there's marks from where the hinges were. So the first step is to split this board in half to produce the legs. So I'm just reassuring myself that this wood has a 90-degree corner and marking it out. I restored this drafter's square in a previous episode, so if that's something you're interested in, go have a look on my site and you should be able to find this. So here's my cheats version of a track saw. I'm just using a ruler as a guide. And a hand plane makes quick work of just flattening out these edges. And whilst this wood isn't in the best of conditions, it's pretty much going to be hidden out of sight. So as long as the visible surfaces are in good condition, that's all I'm really worried about. So with the boards now level and all the glue removed, I can do a quick sand and just improve the quality of the timber. This will help if I decide to paint this at a later date. Now, after cleaning up this shelf that came out of the cupboard, I've realised it's quite an attractive piece of timber. So I think it's going to make a really nice top to the shoe rack. And I don't have a long enough piece of wood or material to use as a guide here. So I'm freehand cutting this along a marked line, and I found that I can be pretty accurate doing this provided I take it steady. I now have all the pieces cut to the size and dimensions I need, and I've decided to use the old metal shelf in this design. I'm not going to go into the detail of the joinery on this project. Obviously here I'm using dowels, but you could use pocket holes, dominoes, just about anything will work. Doesn't need to be advanced joinery. Now I didn't have quite enough material for the centre leg of the taller shoe rack, so here I'm using some wall studs just to produce the middle leg. And as you can see, this wood has been used previously with all the paint splatter on it, but that'll get cleaned up at a later stage. Now I've drilled through the top of a piece of material I've been drilling enough times to realise that I need to be careful and mark the depth of this drill. So here I'm marking the thickness of the leg, the thickness of a piece of timber, and then the metal shelf bracket. And this gives me a good guide for the placements of the pieces. Because the legs are slightly thinner than the shelves, I need to use this thin piece of timber as a means of attaching the metal brackets to the legs. Now I'm using the gap from the front to the leg to provide the same measurement for the legs at each side. So again here I've got visible screws and I've got the metal brackets bolted into the thin pieces of timber. I'm not trying to hide the work here because that's going to be hidden by the shoes on the rack. So this is what the taller one looks like without any shoes on, but once the shoes are added you only really see the frame. And the shelves have been placed at a height specific to the types of shoes they're going to hold rather than a standard gap. So, what do you think? This is the before image of the hallway with the shoe rack, looking very cluttered, and hopefully you'll see that in the after shots the hallway looks a lot tidier, the shoes look a lot more organised, and the timber was worth keeping out of the skip and using in this project. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this project, which is me reusing old materials that would otherwise get thrown away, similar to many of the palette projects you see from other creators.